When I was born, the first person that questioned my existence was the nurse. She looked at me and said to my mom, "Haibo mama, is your husband a white man?" And my mom said, "No, why? At big." You see? Yes, so each and every African country, whichever African country, there's a name for us, you understand? In Zambia, they call you Mwabi. I don't know what it means. In South Africa, we Nkau, and obviously you know Nkau is an Apu, Liswafe, all those things. That's what people, some people even call it, like it's a name calling, like Nje. Yes, this is the things that happen when your child is not at home and people not asking questions. Then the first thing they said, touch this. I learned how to touch a man's penis at the age of 8, 9. Climb here, do this. And then when I went home, so at that point, this person I'm talking about is a very well person known now. This is Thabo Bester, TK, used to be the Facebook rapist. That's the guy that raped me at 14. Yes. And I'm only saying this because, like I said, he couldn't read and write. And that's how my brother met him. He basically wrote for him.
Where? Here in South Africa?
Here in South Africa. So yes, these are events. I was only in Zambia from birth until my father died when I was 12. And then moved here at 14.
This is Thabo.
Yes, Thabo Bester, the Facebook rapist, TK. Okay, so basically that was my life. And then I hated God with a passion. When I left high school, I failed, of course. I could not go into...
Welcome to the Derby Show. Of course, I go by the name Christmas. You already know I'm doing the best show. I'm thanking you, loving on camera and sound. I got my man, James. Hey, we're back. And on my right, I got my man, Aganda. James, what time is it? Yeah.
It's time.
It's a time.
God's time.
God's time, man. It's God's time. Tata, lithini xesha ke ngoku. Oh, siyabulela mntakwethu. Unonyana. Uhleli noyana ndodakazi. Okay. Oh, uhleli ndodakazi namhlanje. Siyabulela abantu. Siyabulela tata kuba usilethele sibone undodakazi. Otherwise, man, one story at the time and one testimony at the time. If you're new to the channel, please press the subscribe button as well as join the membership. Share the episode. As you know, it's God's time, and also help us to help us by donating on the account that is on the description. Since we're raising money to pay the lawyers, so please donate to everything that you have, everything that you can have. 20 rand, 50 rand, it will help us a lot. Otherwise, James, today I'm with my beautiful sister. Beautiful. Yambona na ugqoke kahle, muhle so nje. Hey guys, we are blessed in the studio. Hey, we are blessed, man. Sekusaba nokuthi sawubona nje. Hey, sekusaba nokusho. Woman of God.
Yes, man of God.
How are you?
I am blessed, I am honored, and I thank God for being here.
Well,
I thank Jesus
we
Christ.
also thank God that you made it, man. We love to have women of God in this platform.
Yes, definitely. We're becoming full women of God. We are women, but now we are becoming full women of God.
I can tell with your dress, like you nail it. You look like an angel, bro. You look like an angel. My sister, you look like an angel.
I praise
But
the
tell
Lord.
us at home who you are and where you're from.
Wow, thank you so much. First, I would say, he said, I created you in my image. And most of the times, we don't know what that means. But I think today, this is the full image that God created me in. Amazing. And I'm expressing it to the entire world, you know. So my name is Kafula, Regina Mary. Kafula is my Zambian name.
Oh, okay.
Regina Mary is my name from my grandmother. My grandmother is South African from Vryheid, Emahlabatini. Wow. She married my grandfather, Mr. Kabosha, from Zambia. And they had my father who gave birth to me. So basically, I was born in Zambia, but I was raised in South Africa after my father died. So I've got both Zambian and South African blood in my veins.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
As I'm the best of both black and white.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, man. I love it.
So yes. But I'm currently in South Africa, Enedel, and this is where I fully live and stay.
Your testimony sounded like deep.
Yes.
Just take us from the beginning, man.
So, as we speak, I'm an actress, a motivational speaker, human rights advocate. I'm an international award winner. I could give you a list and it's going to sound like, oh, wow, wow, wow. But the wow is not for me. The wow is for Jesus Christ, okay? This is what he is able to make us to become. As a woman with albinism in the world, when people are watching this from all over Africa, wherever we are called Inkau, Liswefe, Isinyama, a ghost, Mwavi in Zambia. Basically, a person that looks like me is seen to be, they know when they watch, they understand, they've heard, from whatever historical point it comes with. Apparently, they believe that our hair has got magic powers. It can make people rich. If we go on Google now, it says that a person with my skin color, our body parts on the black market, it has figures to dollar. So in Tanzania, when you see me, you are like, hey,
let me change this check.
Do you understand? So we are murdered, we are isolated. Basically, our existence is not so free, okay? And that's what I don't know this because I've heard it on Fundile and all that stuff. I've lived this life, okay? And that's where we start the beautiful foundation. When I was born, the first person that questioned my existence was the nurse. She looked at me and said to my mom, "Haibo, mama, is your husband a white man?" And my mom said, "No, why? At big." You see? And of course, information was not enough at the time. My mom was well educated. There are some people who say, "No, Tina, we learned biology," but still. So my father didn't believe I was his child. And for 2 weeks, he left my mother. And then my grandmother, my great-grandmother from South Africa, right, told my father and said, "No, umalume had albinism. He looked like me. That's why I have albinism." So that's how it was resolved. And then I became my father's best daughter. And life was amazing. But then the reality of the world began with when I'm on the street in Zambia. So each and every African country, whichever African country, there's a name for us, you understand? In Zambia, they call you Mwabi. I don't know what it means. In South Africa, we Inkau, and obviously Inkau is an ape, Liswafe, all those things. That's what some people even call it, like it's a name calling, like Nje. Do you understand? So I would walk on the streets in Zambia as I started growing up, and then people would spit in their shirts, because if you spit, it means you will not have a child like me. So I didn't get to see, because also I'm short-sighted, right? Most of us with albinism, as we're different tones, with different hair colors, I'm trying to advocate further for us to learn more about ourselves. But I can't see far. And our eyesight is different for each one. So basically, my honesty, I can only see up to my toes. You understand, right? No, it's not. Sorry, Jesus made this. Don't worry, got away.
Sorry.
I mean, I've come this far. I'm testifying this, so it's not sorry. It's in His way of creation. So basically, I wouldn't see that people are doing this, but obviously, there's a person working next to you. Those people are spitting in their shirts, and this went on to a point where I always talk to parents. I said, when you are at home, nabantwana, always make sure you teach your children how to treat each other. When I went with my brother on the street, the kids would spit, throw stones, bangshega, all those things. And instead of protecting me, he treated me like that. So he was ashamed of me. Where mas puma, he would say, "Go that side," or he would treat me like that when my parents were not there. So my foundation started very, very suppressed. You understand? I felt like I was absolutely nothing. Okay. At the age of 8, I was raped by a family member that I call an uncle. You understand? Right now, you said the gentleman has come with his daughter, but obviously, Zoti Malume, Chris, Malume, but. And obviously, the child, once you introduce umtwana, which you are umalume, that is the comfortability they feel. So this man came to the house all the time. He would always pick me up. He was he was in and out. And then this one time he came over and he was like, "Where are your parents?" Then I said, "My mom and dad were not here." So he said, "Do you want sweets?" I said, "Yes." And then he put me on his laps. And it was outside, Peter Fowles. It wasn't like, it was outside the yard. You know, ngaphandle, it's a mini suburb. So there's like benches where you sit. It was like around 4. The sun was almost setting. He lifted me up, checked left and right, put me on his laps. He did what he did. And then I didn't even know I was being raped, because obviously this is conversation we don't engage with our children at this level in our lives. Then I remembered I was playing, but now after playing, I don't feel comfortable. There's things pouring down my dress. My underwear is wet. I don't understand. I went in the house. I remembered before I told this to the public and my mom confirmed the story. I thought I put my underwear in the bathroom and my clothes, and my mom woke me up and she found me. But no, when I confessed this at the age of 25 for the first time, she said, "No, I wanted to bath you. Then I found what I found. Then I asked you, what is this? And you didn't tell me." So as you know, African women, what do? She took a stick and she hit me and she hit me. She kept asking me, "What is this on your underwear?" "I don't know." "What is this?" "I don't know." That's when she says, "Okay, I'll show you." Then she took a stick and hit me and hit me and hit me. And then she said, "This stuff on your underwear, what is it?" I said, "I don't know. My uncle picked me up. I was on his laps. That is how I got it." And then from there, I was on a hospital bed. There was doctors. My father was in the room. They were checking me. But then when I got home, nobody came and said, "My child, tomorrow, if a man touches your breast or what, tell us."
The life was normal.
Yes, nobody ever spoke about that. Nobody ever discussed it. It ended there. As we know in most African cultures, like my mom, when I once did a documentary that's out there, I Mary, she said this is not something that was discussed then. That's how she felt. I forgive her now. We're cool, mommy, but I have to testify, you know. So she said it wasn't taught. It wasn't a subject that you raise in the house, which because of that silence, this continued, right? So next door to our house, there were 3 ladies. I'm still around 9, 8 years old. I'm rejected by community. I don't have friends at school. And then at primary school, when I started primary school, I can't see the blackboard, but I went to a private school.
Okay.
So sometimes people think that if you take your child to a private school, as long as when you are taking out the money, the work belongs to the teachers.
Yeah.
I remember this one time, the kids took out their books. They were writing. I can't see anything. I can see big images, but I can't see detail. So the teacher was writing and I couldn't see what she was writing. But I saw the kids next to me, they were writing. So then I said, ma'am, what? I can't see. Then she said, I cannot stop teaching the entire class for one child. And then from there, she locked me up in the toilet. She took me to the sick room. So 35 years of my life as I speak here, I do not know how to read. I never learned your R, A, E, O, U, your vowels, your money, your percentage, your numbers. These are things I'm growing
Never
to
do
learn.
like units and tens.
That I learned last year.
Wow.
Money, that there's 1, there's 10, there's 100 if there's 3, there's 1,000 if there's 4.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's me
The
now.
units and tens. Even me, I feel it, but I can see.
You see, but
So don't worry. Yeah.
You see.
I felt that thing, James, but I can see. So man, don't worry.
You see?
Yeah, ma'am.
So that was basically my foundation. So now, because I'm going through this, so 3 women at our house. So this is, you see how the houses are like close to each other. So these 3 ladies would call me to the house and they loved me, Shem. They said, "Oh, no, Bobby." They looked at me, they were cute. But they worked as prostitutes, okay?
Sure.
And in Zambia, it's illegal to have prostitution the way other countries are. You get arrested. So in the daytime, when I was at their house, they would have like clients that would come to the house. And I would be sitting. You see how she's sitting there, pretty innocent? They would give me chocolate, give me juice. I would be eating, but they would be walking around naked in the place. Until one of the days, their clients said, "No, ask her to join us."
Hey.
Yes, this is the things that happen when your child is not at home and people not asking questions. Then the first thing they said, touch this. I learned how to touch a man's penis at the age of 8, 9. Climb here, do this. And then when I went home, somebody would say, but where were your parents? My parents were next door. We're in this house, it's next door.
And sometimes we trust our neighbors, man.
Exactly. When I went home, the first thing a parent asks is, Bogupi. Then you tell them, Menga Chris, or I was by Ban, but what were you
doing?
That's where it ends.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
Everybody knew where I was, but what we were doing, nobody asked me. Okay? And for me as a child, that was something that constantly happened. So in my head, it thought that is love. Do you understand? When men do this to me, they are smiling, they love me. These other people treat me badly, they don't want. People even like, yo, stuff like that. And then this pattern continues because remember also the enemy's job is to break a person. Once you are suppressed and you are broken, he can crush you and he can use you for whatever he wants. So my foundation was very, very broken because I didn't have friends, people to play with me. So next door, Futi, 2 separate houses because we were in the middle. So it's the ladies in Apa. Then this corner house, there was 2 girls. Their parents were friends with my father. So compulsory, they had to play with me. Whether abang tandi, there's no negotiation. But they had a big brother. He was 21 years old. Whenever I went there, he would tell the sisters, go and buy sweets. But this girl can't go because she'll burn in the sun. When they went to the shop, he said, I love you to me. And he would sleep with me while they were not there. And at the age of 9, I didn't understand. But I was in pain, but I never told anybody. When they came, I didn't tell them. Because to me, when I heard I love you, it was like, this is okay. It's horrible, it's painful. When I pee, I'm in crying, but I cannot tell anyone. And then that was now, these are patterns that were happening in my life. It wasn't a once-off thing. This was something that happened when I went to these houses, okay? And at that time, you don't know that you're being raped. You understand? When I tell you now, I was raped 15 times. All those were the encounters that happened. But I didn't know I was raped because nobody tells you it's rape. But when you become a woman or a teenager, you watch the news, you go to school, then you hear, that happened. Then you realize, I have been raped.
I think you were going to understand if your parents stood up to that first rape that your relative did.
Yes.
If they did stood up and say, what is this? And they take the matter into their hands and you were going to maybe have an idea that this is wrong. So if it continues now, you're like, maybe it's life.
It's normal. The seed got planted and watered. Then this house, this side. So this other house, it's a boy. He's 10, right? He's 10 years old. I'm 9. He's got 2 brothers, 18 and 19. So I would go to his house and we would play with cars outside. And then his big brothers would say, let's play Mommy and Daddy. Have you guys heard of those games, Mommy and Daddy?
I played it.
Yes. Let's play Mommy and Daddy. Then they said, me, I'm the mommy. The boy is the child. Them, they are the fathers.
Yeah, I know
right?
those one, yeah. Because when I was always a child.
Well, you see. And then they would say the child must play outside. Mommy, come to the bedroom. And Mommy went to the bedroom and the same thing happened. This one slept with me, took me to his brother. This one slept with me, took me to his brother. I went home. Nobody asked me, so I never said anything. In fact, I started thinking this was okay.
Yeah.
The gardener who gardens the house outside was outside. And then me, myself, around 10, 11, I went to him and I said, come and do this. I didn't even know what I said. All I know is I said, come and do this to me.
Yeah,
then he was like, hey, what are you saying? Then I got scared. I'm like, why is he upset? So I went in the house. I was like, if this man is upset, it means I said something wrong. While I'm still trying to think what I said was wrong, there this man comes, picks me up, put me on the bed, and he just had his way with me. Because in his head, I knew what I was asking him to do. Then I screamed, I started crying, and he was like, sorry, but, and then...
You asked for it, yeah.
You understand? And to me... Nothing clicked. I didn't know this was wrong. And the last thing I was going to do was tell my mom, because every time I peed, I would be in so much pain, but I was scared if I talk, I would be beaten. Do you see? So that was my life, where my mom's cousin, would come drunk. There are those teenagers in the house that are like, you are young, but like guys with, your guys type of thing in a house. And then you talk about your business with other girls and all that stuff, but you ignore the young girls. You just like, you are kids, go away. So my cousin was this ladies' man, and he would be telling my brother how many girls he was dating, and they would just gather. But I was always chased no matter what, you understand? So whenever he was drunk, he would start, like when I'm cooking or something, he would come and play with my breasts, okay? And for me, I didn't say no. I didn't say stop, because I wanted to feel that attention that I heard him expressing about those other girls. Do you understand? And this now also, another one of these incidents was at school. My teacher, like I said, I went to a private school. We spoke French, bonjour, comment ça va, ça va bien. It was money rolling. Yes. So we had a French teacher. He would come, bonjour, the kids. There are those teachers, when he just walks through the door, the kids go crazy about him. Oh. We had that teacher, and then he would come and teach us French, lundi, mercredi, jeudi, dimanche.
Oh, you also speak French?
Well, that's what I remember from school.
Yeah.
And then he would write the days of the week on the board. Now, I can't see. I'm already an outcast. Kids don't want to sit to me, even in this classroom. It's not something I faced at home. I faced it at home, yes. Community, kids, like everywhere, even in the classroom. So I always felt alone. So asking for help was not something I knew how to do. In fact, you don't ask for help, because if I ask for help, I'm causing problems. You understand? I didn't want to be seen. I always wanted not to be seen, because I felt like I was a problem. Even kids in here, just sitting with me in a classroom was a discussion that to So I just couldn't deal with yonke ndao. Mangfike school, I was the only girl with albinism in my high school. Wow. And when I arrived, the entire assembly had to turn. It just took like, and they do that. And that was my life, basically. So my French teacher would write, lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi. I can't see, but I can hear. Okay, so I used my hearing as an ability. So I would memorize what he's saying. And then he would tell the class, read what I said. Then they would read Monday, mercredi, jeudi. Then he would say, everybody, keep quiet. Mademoiselle Mary, read, alone. And I would be scared, but I would say what I heard. I don't see, but I'm just repeating what I heard. Then he would say, no, you're blind, you can't see, come to my desk. Come read from my desk. And then he would take a book and then place it on the table. You see how this desk is, but in a classroom, it's a bit higher. There is like a cloth that they put on the tablecloth. He would sit like you and ask me to come this side. And then one hand, you'd be like, read. And I'll be trying to read, which I can't read. I'm already traumatized by knowing I can't read. That also makes you feel like you are more than nothing. You understand? My color was nothing compared to the fact that I can't read like other kids. Then he would have his two hands up my dress, right in the classroom. So one hand is on the table. Read, blind girl. The other hand, you'd be like, open for me. And if I didn't, he would pinch me. You see? So in one part of my head, you stupid, you can't read. What you're going to the school is going to laugh. The other part, he's hurting me. So many things happening to me. I can't even understand which part I am. And then the bell would ring. Then he would say, Mademoiselle Mary, you are beautiful. Don't tell anyone about this. And guess what? I never told anyone. And there were times where he would teach us piano lessons, right? So it's, some classes have got grade 10A, grade 10B or something like that, like two separate classes. So he would say, everybody stay in one class. I want one student at a time to come to the other side. So whenever I was in that class, he did as he wanted with me. And for me, it became okay. This teacher won't shout at me. This teacher won't make a mockery out of me. Do you understand? It never clicked that this was wrong. It wasn't supposed to happen. Nothing of that was infused into my head. And then this became a pattern in a way where this is the last one, like 15 others people would have to, I want to make sure I use enough time. But another one of my rapes that happened was my brother came home with a friend, right? And then because I can't read, I can't write. Everyone can read and write. And there was a moment when kids had like a piece of paper where they were saying, let's pretend to be presenters and all that stuff. Each person would read a section, and this paper was going round. Each person was reading. But as I'm sitting there, before the paper could even come, there's like millions of things. Get up, go, run, something. Like, you'll be embarrassed. They'll laugh at you. Like, this is happening to my head. And I tried to say, guys, I need to go home. And no, don't go. Read first. No, guys, no, don't go. Read first. Don't go until you read. And when the paper came to me, I couldn't even start a sentence, and those kids in that room laughed at me. You can't read. You're so stupid. I cried. Those tears that just fall down from your face without you wanting to cry from the pain and the humiliation. So ever since that happened to me, I never wanted to be exposed that I can't read. I couldn't tell my mother, my aunt. Nobody in the planet Earth knew I was dealing with this grievancy in my soul. When I came back with work from school, my aunt would write for me, but she never taught me how to do the work. So when my brother came with this friend, and then this friend had money, he bought him clothes and Jan. Then he said, my friend can't read and write. So the reason I'm his friend is because Nyambalela min. But his name is this and that. Then when I heard him say that his friend couldn't read and write, for me, it felt like...
Not the only one.
Me too. You understand? I felt like... That's all I ever wanted to know, that whatever I was going through, is it because of me? Is it this? Because I even blamed this skin color to see, because of my skin color, I can't read, because of my skin. And on top of that, we burn from the sun, okay? Like, you see, this is God's divine creation, but without sunscreen, I'm red and blistered. There are other people who look like me and they sores. All that is caused from the sun. So I wasn't looking like this. For people to say, no, how can they not love her the way she looks? I did not look like this. I was red, like a tomato. I had spots, Most people who don't have sunscreen or medical care in Africa, you see them blistered. And people think, Agastandi, hey, why is their skin like that? It's the sun. My mom didn't know about sunscreen. She thought Comfort cream was sunscreen. Even up to date, we don't have an advert that says, hey, if you have a child with albinism, this is what you need to use. Doesn't exist. It doesn't there. So we burn.
That's a good point, man. I never saw it.
I've had 2 skin cancer operations as we speak, but that's in the next chapter.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have part 2.
I hope not. So basically, when I heard that this guy can't read and write, I felt close. But remember, I'm just a 14-year-old. You don't talk to your brother's friends. No one sees you. I wasn't seen. Okay, even when friends of my brother came in the house, they didn't mind ill-treating me. You understand? Even at school, my brother could not deal with the pressure where they would ask him, is she your sister? He'd be like, no. Then they would come to me and say, Pela, uyakuphika super twakho. Why wena uright na ublack? Why gunje na kanje? Like, it was that thing. So this guy, at night, I'm sleeping, ne? I'm in my room. I'm 14 years old. I hear a knock. And it's not a knock like a hard one. It's a small knock. And then I open the door. It's my brother's friend. Now, when I see him, already, he's not the type to talk to me. He's cute. He wears bandanas. He's the hip hop guy.
Okay.
But then he's at my door. I don't know anything about boys, so I'm frozen. He walks into my room and he says, I love you. Okay? So to me, I love you it's like the only language that I hear. Okay, I don't know anything else. Then he tries to kiss me. And from there, he just picks me up and tries to sleep with me in the way that he also raped me, because I remember I started bleeding and I started crying. And then he apologized. He said, sorry. And then I went back to the bedroom and I was in pain, but I was like, no, this person said he loves me and we have something in common, right? And that habit continued for a long time, where in the dark, he loved me, but in the light, he didn't see me.
At that point, how do you feel about him?
So at that point, this person I'm talking about is a very well person known now. This is Thabo Bester, TK, used to be the Facebook rapist. That's the guy that raped me at 14. Yes. And I'm only saying this because, like I said, he couldn't read and write. And that's how my brother met him. He basically wrote for him.
Where? Here in South Africa?
Here in South Africa. So yes, these are events. I was only in Zambia from birth until my father died when I was 12. And then moved here at 14.
Thabo.
Yes, Thabo Bester, the Facebook rapist, TK. Right? I even have a letter where he apologized for these things later, but not exactly in detail, where he said sorry. He didn't actually admit that he was raping me behind, not knowing, but that's him. And that's what happens, when children are like, we also want to fit in. The worst thing a mother can do is when she compares abantwana ekhaya. Yo, umntwana mi lo, he got 10. Lo, she fails. So I was that girl where they even said, we are wasting money for you to go to school. Can you a little bit
give us his character, man? Because we don't know his character.
So I was 14 years old. So I don't know what year that was. All I know is that TK was living with us basically. And the character he's basically, he couldn't write, okay? My brother said his name is TK, Tom Kelly sometimes, Thabo Bester, his mother stayed in Orange Farm at that time. And obviously it wasn't a real story, because what you read online is exactly what he was. But he wasn't a child that knew who he was. He was always dirty. My mom would always say, wash your feet, do this. When he takes off his shoes, they were always smelling. They would come and go. But all the time, my brother would now come home with money. Those times was a time of Nelia. So they were doing all those, those bandanas, those shoes with colors. Do you understand? So that was the life that we knew. In public, he was just my brother's friend. But obviously at night when we slept, then he would sneak in and then come to me. You understand? I was just ashamed of me. So basically, you see, but him not being able to read and write, he couldn't. And me having to hear that there's somebody on this planet Earth that can't read and write, that's what said it's okay. Because we want to feel like we fit in somewhere, So basically that was me, 14. And then from there, it just continued where I didn't love myself. And now we are in high school, okay? I was the girl that the teacher would say, "Wanalo, siyapusha, it's condone." She fails, because if you fail one grade, you repeat it, you can't repeat it twice. So I've never passed the grade from grade 0 to grade 12. I was pushed. I was the girl on the bottom of the list, and teachers did not mind to point it out in the classroom. I was the girl that, they laughed at me. And then my brother was the same high school, but he finished earlier. So my brother was so smart, because you see, in Zambia, there's a rule that if a child fails, the teacher gets fired.
Oh.
So my brother's academic knowledge was a bit higher than here, where they give you 30%. So when you got to a school where there was a 30% mark, I was just killing it. You understand? So it was really making teachers vibe. So I was expected to deliver the same amount of energy. So when my brother left school with some of the students that knew this guy is smart, one of them came back to the school as a teacher. You know how they train you back to come back to the school? So he came back as a teacher. I was in grade 10. It was an English class. And then he's like, "Oh, hi, everybody. We're going to read a book today. And I'm going to choose the best person who can read in this class." And as he opened that book, he didn't even ask who can read. He just assumed, because I am Kambule's sister, I can read. I'm in grade 10, yes. He placed the book on the table. And the class knows. So when he said I would choose the best person who can read, and he did that, they wanted to make sure he must just get humiliated. Because when I started doing that, he was so shocked. They were like, "Kwa, kwa, 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 kwa." He never asked to say, "You're in grade 10. How come you can't read?" He just grabbed the book and said, who can read in this class? And then he jumped me. And when that happens to me, like death comes over my soul. Like you just hear the voice that says, "You are ugly, go home and kill yourself." I've basically attempted 11 suicides. And I was in Baragwana Hospital, academic hospital, when I was 17 because it was time for matric. And I couldn't. I was too afraid because, you see, because of this pain, because of this rejection, you get to a point where now the devil comes to you and starts saying, whatever they're making you feel, make them feel it too. So it's an eye for an eye. So instead of me being this humble girl, now I had like horns. If you are passing in the school, I would take all your books, Chris, go home, remove the cover, put a new cover, put a new sticker. All that became my work.
You passed.
That's how I managed to get through. Nobody knew, no teachers checked. That was me. When we are writing an exam, most of the exams, they would write the AMA question on the board. I can't even see the question. Even if the friend wanted to say, number 1 is John is jumping, I can't spell John is jumping on top of that. If a person says, in fact, I'm short-sighted, I look at a book like this. So everything was against me. So in that class, I would have this voice that would say, you are nothing, go home and kill yourself. Oh no, I don't want to fail. I would be so tormented where when I look at the entire class, I would hate them. I would think, why can they read? I can't. Why? Like you start creating this hate towards other people while they don't even have an idea. So from there, I would say, no, I won't write my name. So I would write I would answer the question paper, but I won't write my name on top. Then when the teacher is waiting there, I would go place my paper underneath other papers. And then when she leaves the classroom, I would follow her into the staff room, and then I would check where she put those papers while I'm asking, "Hi, ma'am, I wanted to ask, last week that portfolio, what happened?" She would say, "Oh, I portfolio last week," but I would be checking it. Okay, she put them next to the blue.
You became a master.
Then after school, when the buses were going, I would go to the clinic and wait there. And when the school was out, I would jump the fence, go in the teacher's office, in the staff room, take those papers, look for my paper that without a name, Nyakipa. Then I look for Juliet. Juliet was the smartest girl in the classroom. I would copy and paste everything she wrote. Remember, I can't read, I can't understand anything. So everything she wrote, I would write. I sat in the front, Juliet was in the back seat. So when Juliet paper comes 90, mine comes 90.
Yeah.
The other kids that laughed, or they laughed at me before I took back those papers, I'll be like, now I will teach you a lesson. I always tell teenagers, don't laugh at people, you don't even understand their problem. I would tear their papers, and I would tear them with so much joy. That's when the devil says, now do what you must do. Kids would come, "Mami, paper lami, awubhalanga wena, mami ngibhalile, alikho lapha." That's just cutting it.
So that's how you do your revenge.
Yes, I found joy in hurting other people, because when I was hurt, it was normal. Do you understand? So that's how I got through school. Sometimes I'd go to the toilet 2 hours Monday, double period Zulu English. I can't repeat, they know I can't read, but mocking me every time, I couldn't. So I would just, my voice is gone, I can't talk. The whole day I would be like that.
Okay, we're going to do part 2. Can you just tell me now you're starting to the journey to Jesus?
Okay.
Just say maybe one encounter, then we close, then we're going to continue. We're going to do part 2, I think.
Okay, so basically that was my life. And then I hated God with a passion. When I left high school, I failed, of course. I could not go into the newspaper department and put my name in the newspaper,
No, yeah.
If I could burn it down, I could have. Because it's the most embarrassing thing where I was able to manipulate my way through school. But I could not do that. And obviously, you see, I speak so well. People don't believe I can't read, I can't write. I've never passed a grade at school. Even now, I can tell you this, but you're not saying, Mary, no, namanga. Bring a book, let's give her. Bring a paper. No one has ever done that. They've heard me, but they never proved it. Until you live with me, then you're like, you can't spell run. You can't spell this. You don't know, like my last relationship. You don't know money. You don't know numbers. You don't know percentages. Then I was like, but I've been saying this. So anyway, after high school, no matric. I can't read, I can't write, I'm nothing. So what happens? I'm a liar now. I'm an alcoholic. I smoke, I drink, I go to Berea, Hillbrow. I was just that girl. You understand? People drink about flying fish. Me, I was drinking Black Label Case. I didn't care, And then I hated myself in a way that people would always ask this question, what are you doing for a living? And I couldn't answer that. I wanted to be an actress. It was always my dream because when I saw people on TV, I wanted that, but I couldn't be that. So I hung out with people who did things that they would never wake up in the morning and say, let's go to school. They would say, I'm fit to bablaz, as pinned. Like, you see people hanging out with bad friends. Like, why are you always with them? It's because they do not put me down. They accept my wrong. Even if I know I did not want to do those things, but I did them because I was hurting. So that was my lifestyle. I also stole in the church, okay? I had no money. The only way is to sleep with Tom, Dick, and Harry. They give you 100 rand today, you go home. And then when you come home, we come from homes where mothers and fathers say, Pela, you can't just do, you're not a student anymore. You can't just eat. You can't just buy thikanguti. You understand? And then you must provide. And when you come home, you're a girl. You don't work, but you come home with plastics. And the first thing they do is, hey, what? Nobody asks you, good, what did you do? And then you become depressed even more. So my life was like that. Parties, stealing, hating God. And then I met people that said, you're a demon. You understand? Some people sometimes we think God is in a suit. God is a BMW because we think God is only perfect. That's how I saw him. Because people in my house, we went to church, but going to church was like a Sunday school thing, like where it's a, what do you call it? It's a register. Every Sunday you dress up and go to church, but you don't know why you're going to church. So in the church, when I would hear them say Moses, David, I wouldn't relate. I've never read the Bible. I don't know anything. I would be looking, which bag am I going to steal from today? You understand? That was my life. Then I was at this party, and at this party in Enedale before I moved there, I was drinking, smoking as usual. I wore weaves. I did lashes because also my brother could not hang out with me because I'd look like this. I had to put red, the odd pictures you would just see. You understand? That's how I was accepted. So that was me, not this girl you were seeing. This is a new creation altogether. So at this party, there was this woman who was drunk and she was pregnant and she was smoking. And then she asked me a question. She said, what are your dreams and your goals? What do you want to be in life? Then I said, I want to be an actress, but it will never happen. She says, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, God loves you. God loves you. God loves you. Just get to know him. Okay. And then in my head, I was like, first of all, she's pregnant, she's drinking, and she's smoking. And then she said, God. So it just didn't click that somebody like that could talk about God, or I could be in a party and God could be spoken about. I was very angry. I got home that day. I was angry. I insulted God. I told him, you son of a this, you. Like, I didn't mind withdrawing my emotions. At the last, I took the Bible and I looked at this Bible. It's got the smallest words that, And I took it and I said, this Bible, look at it. It's got small words. I can't read. You are the reason for my skin. I hate my skin. You're the reason I can't see. I hate you. And I tore this Bible into pieces. I ripped it and I insulted this God. And I said, how am I going to know you when you are the reason for my problems? 2 days later, 2 days later, my cousin says, I was spring cleaning my bedroom. I found a CD. I don't think I want it. Maybe you can have a look. When I took that CD, it was still in a plastic, okay, sealed. When he gave it to me, I said, what is the CD all about? It was written audio Bible. Do you understand? I tore a book. I tore something I couldn't read, and I said, how am I going to know you? 2 days later, a CD comes. It's written audio Bible. I took it. That was the first time I was like, if there's something called a God somewhere, something heard me, because I took it, I put it in the cassette player, and it began, in the beginning, God created the world. And I was like, oh, I can hear. So you're telling me everything that is written, I can also hear it. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to use this now I'm going to learn about you, God, so I can speak against you. So I started listening to this Bible from the beginning, and I didn't care. I was orchestrating it as I listened. I was like, so what? When are you a bully? Yeah. I was just talking back until I came to the story of Moses. When Moses was in the bush and God said, Moses, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The first thing that happened was an introduction. You understand? Because sometimes we think that God just imposes on people. No, he actually introduces himself. Moses, I want to use you. Go to Pharaoh. He said, I've heard the cries of the Israelites. Go to Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go. And then Moses said, you can't use me. I am a stammerer. I'm a nobody. I have no identity. God says, I know who you are, but I'm going to use you. Moses said, hey, do you know who Pharaoh is? Do you understand? There was a conversation where Moses refused to accept that this God could use him. He even told him that I use my brother. He can speak better. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, Moses, tell him, who does he think he is? Yeah. So I didn't know that we can actually communicate with God. And then God himself, he had to prove himself to a man, because this man said, you don't know who Pharaoh is. He says, put your hand in the pocket. He put it in. It became leprosy. He put the stick down. It turned into a snake. That's the kind of relationship God was willing to go hand in hand with a man. Then I was like, okay, let's see if he will do what you said he will do. Then Moses went. Everything God said he would do, he did. And when they freed the Israelites, the same people who will love you for 2 minutes, oh, we love you, God, thank you, we will praise your God. Moses saw God's power. But when they got to the Red Sea, he forgot. That's how human we are. We are made of flesh that we can express the truth, because Moses was like, God, look now, there is a river. The Egyptians are coming. And then God said, Exodus 14:14, Moses, be silent. The Egyptians you see today, you will see no more. He parted that whole thing and the people passed.
I know you have encounters. Because of time, yes. I think we really need part 2. So we're going to continue the encounters. Now you surrender everything. You're going to God and everything. There's a lot that I didn't ask. Even your relationship with your parent, I didn't ask it. But I think on part 2, we'll try now, because I want to let you speak, and freely. So yeah. But I think we must just have a part 2. If you want part 2 at home, just
we're out of time already.
Yeah, we're out of time.
God, yeah. No. Yeah. And that's where my life changed right there. Okay.
So, and that's it. That's part 2. Is life changing. So you have to come back for part 2.
Gosh, it's so far.
Okay, it's nice to be here.
Yes, because
it's nice to be talking about it.
Talking about God, because there's nothing you can't do. Like I said, if you Google search my name today, you'll be shocked. But that was my journey. Still today, by now I have an iPhone, so I speak, it types, so I can do anything. But before, I had to learn by using sugar, package, and then memorize. If I'm watching a movie and you are talking to me, I want to write, run. I'll go to a movie, play what they said, pause, subtitle, I would copy. That's how I had to learn. Subtitle, music videos and lyrics, that's how I had to learn. memorizing constantly. I'm in a room, I'm constantly shivering because somebody has a book, has a paper, they'll ask me to read. My life was always in trauma, but God said, stop. And the best part is that because he knew what was in my heart. I always, you can sit here and be like this, but in your heart, you're like, it will never happen, it will never happen. But today, lead actress, Mzansi Magic, me, the girl that they said no director will wake up and write a story about an albino. Yeah.
And that's amazing. I can't wait to have part 2.
Okay, are we done? Is it a wrap?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have part 2. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut it here and continue next time on part 2. I think we'll start from, because I have a question like, how was your relationship with your mother, and how was life when you come from Malawi and you come in this
Zambia.
side? Yeah, Zambia.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you come this side, how was life? And we want to know all those things, and go deep, a little bit and have another hour. So thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we really appreciate it.
Thank you. God is great. He's great. He can do anything.
Yeah. On camera and sound, I got my man James. We're gonna drop part 2, and on my right, I got my man Ganda Utata. Otherwise, man, thank you so much for watching, and keep on subscribing and sharing. We're going to 200,000 subscribers. Let's go. Otherwise, James.